yourself. You're tuned into Women Radio 91.7, and you're very welcome to Political Arena on Women Radio, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. Political Arena is the program where we examine political issues shaping Nigeria's democracy with a strong focus on inclusion, equity, and representation. Today, however, we are looking at the special seats bill through a slightly different lens, not just as a gender conversation, but as a question about Nigeria's leadership future. Remember how in primary school, they say children, yeah, we are the leaders of tomorrow. The question is, are we really the leaders of tomorrow, or are the people that are there refusing to let us lead? But even in a different way, we're also talking to, that women radio will always talk about everything from the lens of a woman. So if young women are not intentionally included in political structures today, what does leadership look like tomorrow? So it's like we're fighting it's layered, it's nuanced, they say, because there's the fight of young people even getting there. There's even another fight of young women getting there. And if you've been listening to us, if you've been a part of the Women Radio family, we've been talking about the special seats for ages. When we did pass this bill, God actually, I beg. But can the reserve seats, the question is, can the reserve seats serve as a bridge from participation to power, especially for young women who are already demonstrating leadership capacity? I remember when I was 7, I really wanted to go into politics, but then Nigeria's matter was just too much for me. So I said, you know what, peace. But then we are joined today by the youngest, the first female speaker of the Lagos State Youth Parliament, a leader who represents the voice, the ambition, and political realities of young Nigerians. Oh, I didn't say my name. My name is Fumi Bangwala, because I'm excited about today. And her name is Itinoluwa Shoni Regun. And I'm excited to particularly speak to her this morning. Good morning, Itinu. How are you?
Good morning. I am fine. Thank you very much for having me. Yes, I am also the youngest youth parliament speaker in Nigeria. So you are very much correct.
I was correct, but I was like, let me not go and say rubbish on air. I was like, I think she is, but I do you know what? It's safer to just say first female, right, than say youngest. But yes, so we're speaking to the youngest and the first female.
Yes,
that's double decker. First female speaker of the Lagos State Youth Parliament. Thank you so much for coming on the program today. We are so delighted. We're pleased to have you here.
Thank you
Before we go ahead, you can be part of the conversation by calling 07000 917 917 or 9155 917 917, or by sending the text or WhatsApp message to 0703 1756 537 or 08155 917 917. We are also live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us online as you go www.wfm917.com. Okay, this is Political Arena. Let's get into it. Can you tell us quickly how you got to be the youngest and first female parliament person? How did that come about? Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this question. And well, I would want to say a very big thank you to Lagos State government for their inclusive policy, because the administration of His Excellency Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu has been so bent on inclusion, and I feel that this actually gave me a way when we wanted to go, because there's nothing like, oh, she's a female, she can't do it. So he has created that space that, oh, female can actually do it, and I think that gave me another way. And it's also about intentionality, right? I believe that I can do it. I believe that nobody can stop me once I put my mind into something, and there's nothing like failure, right? So I believe that I can just go there, and if eventually I did not get there, from the experience I would learn from it. And that was essentially what I did. And I also believe in the God factor, right? So those are the things that helped me. I prayed, and yes, and I became the first female.
Okay. Now, as someone, thank you so much for that. That's very, very inspiring. As someone who has already broken this great barrier in youth leadership as the first female speaker, as the youngest speaker as well, what challenges did you face or do you face navigating these political spaces as a young woman? Because, you know, we see it from outside, but it's different when you are actually inside.
All right. So, well, one of the challenges that I face is the structural barriers that believes
Okay.
that, oh, women are emotional beings and everything about them is just being emotional. Even when you are trying to apply your emotional intelligence to things, people tends to like, oh, she's trying to come in from an emotional angle, and
Hmm.
you understand. So I feel that is one of it. That is just another thing, is that trying to balance diverse, views. I lead a parliament of 40 members, right? So people from different backgrounds, the people from different orientation, people from different constituencies, and majorly I am the youngest, even in my youth parliament, right? So trying to balance the views of everybody, trying to for us to make a way, because I believe that myself being the first female speaker, whatever I do now would create, or would either make or mar other females that are coming into the system. People would use me as reference point that, oh, when Itunu was there, what did she do? So these are the things that I'm trying to like make sure that things happen, but not just only in my way, because I need to also balance the different perceptions, different views of my colleagues in the youth parliament. So this has been, some of the major barriers, some of the major challenges for me, even as a young person in parliament.
Hmm. So, would you say that youth political platforms prepare women for mainstream politics? Because I would like to think that because you said you're the youngest, there's many factors that will be fighting against you already. You're young, and then in this culture that we have in Nigeria, we're very, very big on respect. So it's
Mhm.
like you want to call somebody to order, and you can't call the person to order because the person said you are disrespecting me. Meanwhile, you're the one that is leading them. I mean, so would you say that this platform has helped you in terms of transitioning into mainstream politics? Because that's really where this thing is. I don't even know the word for it. Yes, but please go ahead.
Mhm. Well, yes, yes, and on that, I must give kudos to my colleagues at the youth parliament. Whenever we are having, like, should I say leadership, or I don't want to say political discussion, whenever we are having a leadership discussion, they still give me this kind of respect that, oh, she's our leader, we need to listen
Right.
to her. And from my
Mhm.
own part too, I don't need to overdo things, because I know that I am the youngest, and for them to be giving me the respect is not because of my person, but because of the leadership I am currently in. So the question now is, what if when I leave the leadership position, what will become of me? So I do
Mm.
think that will speak for me in the nearest future, not just today. And as such, they give me ultimate respect every time, anywhere. So I must give the kudos to my colleagues in the youth parliament.
I like that answer because what I'm hearing you say is you're able to use what they like to get to them.
Mhm.
And speaking of the special, because we're gonna, my next question is also about the special states bill. Is my first question on special states bill? Because one of the things that during our daily news review, our political show in the morning, one of the things that some people call to say is, why do we have to beg them to give us these seats, to give the women seats? But what I'm also hearing you say is that because you're the youngest, you must not overdo, you try as much as possible not to overdo it, even though you're their leader. How do you manage that in terms of not being looked down upon or not being taken for granted, and linking it to how we can get more women in seats of power?
Can you come again with the question, please?
Okay, I know, I think I asked plenty questions at the same time. Okay, I was saying that what I'm hearing you say is that you're the youngest, so you use respect, you use the things that they like. Because at the end of the day, it's like if you want to kill a cat, you will put fish in front of the cat, a dog or a rat. You put fish, and then you can set the trap for the fish. So what I'm hearing you say is that when you're dealing with your colleagues, you make sure that you're using these tools at your disposal to be able to get them to be on your side.
Mhm.
Now, I know said On the other hand, a lot of people have an issue with that when it comes to the special seats, because it's like, why are we begging them to give us these seats? What are your thoughts on that?
All right. So, to your first question, like, what approach do I use to manage people in the parliament? I would
Yeah.
say that I make use of participatory, data-driven approach. And how
Okay.
do I do this? I private chat them a lot. I ask for their opinions, for their ideas on what could be done differently.
Right.
I'm not authoritative, right? I'm
Right.
very, very democratic, right? In the sense of asking them what they feel about. When you give people sense of belongings about things, trust me, things would improve more than how you even thought of it. So those are
Mm-hmm.
the areas those are the ways that I used to manage people in the parliament.
Mm-hmm.
So now
Mm-hmm.
coming out from the angle of why do we need to beg them, we have used several approaches before and we have realized that it is not working. Like my mommy, my Madam Tom would always say, this is not the time for us to like say gra gra or gra gra. We need to beg them that please, we need to make them to see reasons why this special seat bill is important, why it is not just important now, but for someone like me, for someone that is interested in leadership, for futures of female gender, right? For them to see why it is needed right now and even in the nearest future. So we have tried every other approach and it's not really working out. So the left option for us now is to plead to beg on the 10th assembly to beg on the 10th assembly that this is the right time for us to pass the bill, even as at the fact that we the 2027 election is around the corner. Well, I don't want to say much on that now, but please, we are begging. We are begging, yeah.
I understand. I was in Abuja, I think in December, and there was at the plaque conversation, and I was at the governor's spouses forum as well. And when I was listening, I was just so tired. I was like, look at these women. They're like my mothers, grandmothers, who are still begging for me to be able to. They're finding the way. They're trying to pave the way for people like me to get there. I was like, if these women are begging, what? Kiloko,
What will I do?
what will I do? You know, and it's just so. It can be very, very frustrating and overwhelming. I must say. Anyway, from your perspective, how do you think the special seats bill could change the political confidence and ambition of young Nigerian women? And I'm glad to ask you this question because you're a young person and you're the first young female parliament person. So, what do you think?
All right, so I will start this question by trying to talk about what this bill is trying to address, the problem
Yeah.
that it is to address
Mhm.
initially. So presently, the underrepresentation of women in Nigeria's politics cannot be overlooked. It cannot be overlooked. So in the National Assembly, in the Senate, we have we have 4 women that are senators, right? That is
Yeah.
representing about 3 point something percent. Also in the House
Mhm.
of Representatives, we have, I think it was we have about 4%.
Yeah.
So coming in together in the National Assembly, that means we do not have 5% of up to 5% of women representing us. So
Yeah.
I made the calculation. I saw, okay, I mean, 4 in the Senate. I think it was, I'm trying to recall, 21 in the House of Representatives. I'm trying to recall, right? So it shows, no, it's not even up to 21. So the total calculation that I got is 21 over 469, right?
Mm.
So that means 21 over 469 senators, I mean, lawmakers are women. It shows that it
It's a
can
bill.
no longer be overlooked. As a matter of fact, from research, we find out that 15 out of the 36 states that we have do not currently have female lawmakers. So now the implication or the question that we should be asking is that who are those representing the interest of women in this state that we do not have female lawmakers at all? So that means that in this state, right, the committee on women affairs is being chaired by men. Is
By men.
the issues there is being discussed by men. So what we should also be asking ourselves is that how can they fully represent us without us? Right?
Yeah, that's a
So
good
coming
question.
back to your question now, I believe that this special seat bill is going to address these structural imbalances, right? It is
Mhm.
going to create more space for women. And if it creates more space for women, someone like me, I would always say that we also want godmothers. We have always been hearing about godfathers. What is it about godmothers? We also want people that we can always look up to as role models, that can always encourage us that, oh, if this person can do it, that means I can also do it. For instance, now I've also been able to like make a landmark in the history of Lagos State Youth Parliament. So more female are now like, oh, if Itunu can be the first female speaker, what is stopping me from also being a speaker? So I would say that this bill, if it is being passed or if it is passed, it will address the structural imbalance and also put in place structures that would help young females like myself to see, oh, leadership as not a sacred place to be, but as a place that we all can be, and it is for all genders. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer. I really, really love that answer. Speaking on godmothers, because it seems like because we don't have people who are fighting for us is why, I mean, there are few men. There's the speaker, Abbas Tajuddin. There is Benjamin Kalu, I think was the first person to talk about this as well. But they are just like, how many are they in the large scheme of things? We don't have it, but those are even men that are fighting for it. But in terms of those who can sponsor women, those who can mentor women, why do you think we don't have enough godmothers per se for women? Because the argument sometimes is that women don't support women and all of that. Why would you say we don't have enough women, mentoring young girls to come into politics in Nigeria?
All right, the answer is as simple as the fact that women are not, in most cases, given the chance to be in leadership position. When we ask, or let me ask you, have there ever been a time that maybe I don't know, or maybe history do not have it? Have there ever been a time where we have female presidents in Nigeria?
Oh, no, there's
Have
never
there ever been a time where we have female? So, have there ever been a time where we have female vice presidents in Nigeria? So, the answer is as simple as this structural imbalances is persistent. It has been a continuous one. And the only way for us to address it is through the passage of this special seat bill. In fact, what we are saying is that it is just going to run for a period of four electoral cycles. That is like 16 years. It is not too much to ask, right? It is just something that we women are seen as a temporary way of correcting the structural imbalance that we presently face or have in Nigeria.
I love that answer. Thank you so much for that answer. Now, to mentoring young women we've been seeing a lot of young women who are vocal politically. You hear them online, you hear them speak, but does that visibility translate into decision-making power? Especially if you're not because I want to think that if you're not in politics, you're not really making decision. You can be talking, right? So how do we get it to translate?
How do
we get the visibility that a lot of young women have online speaking politically? There's a lady I listen to, I can't remember her name, who's always she gives political commentary, what's going on in Nigeria, but we don't see it really translating into the corridors of power. How can we do that?
All right, I would always go back to the special seat bill. I would always go back to the special seat bill because there's no way we want to translate, will, or I'm trying to look for the perfect words. There's no way, okay, or what we want into action, into realistic action without the legislative arm of government. So when women, I wouldn't want to say young women, when women are not really fully represented in the legislative arm, the question we should be asking ourselves is that how do our interests want to be represented? Because this is the house where laws are made, where everything that has to do with laws, everything that has to do with policies are being discussed and are finalized. So when it is now being underrepresented, women are now being underrepresented. I mean, people that represent half of the population are being underrepresented. How do we want to discuss issues that affect them? How do we want to translate what they wish or what they want into realistic actions?
Yeah,
So I would go back to the special seat bill that this is part of the things that the special seat bill also known as the Reserve Seat Bill, is trying to address and is trying to correct?
I mean, I know that it seems like it's new keeps on saying the special seats bill, but I mean, no matter the question I asked, to be honest, we'll still go back to it. And I think that's what makes me really sad, because we can tell that there is a vacuum. We can tell that there is an imbalance. As I said, we
Yeah.
can tell that there's an anomaly for a country that is supposed to be the giant of Africa. Other countries, I think Namibia, Kenya, what's the other country? Uganda have Rwanda have higher numbers in parliament of women. And like you rightly said, how can a man be comfortable with deciding what has to do with women? Which means that when it comes, like, how can you, men don't even like to hear about periods. So how can you tell people about how can you speak for women that, oh, sanitary pads are getting expensive? You don't even know what the flow even looks like. Actually, these older men, they don't even want to know, and that's what makes me really, really sad, because I'm just like, how do we get there? How do we get there? How do we get there? Okay, my next question would be, one of the things that I think some of the these men said last year during when there was an issue with one of the senators, female senators, was that I remember them saying, if only one woman is causing such problem in the house, how much, like, you people now say you want more women? What would you say to that?
Well, well, I'll try to address that question. And as a matter of fact, I would also want us to have this, conversations after this particular session.
Okay.
But what I would want to say is that it is as simple as trying to compare our fingers together,
Yeah.
right? This one is different from this one,
Yes.
and this is also different from this one. So
Mm-hmm.
I would want to say that they should not compare. This is a conversation I said I would want to have with you
Yeah.
after this
Yeah.
particular session.
Mm-hmm.
In what response to your question, right? People are different.
Yes.
Like I said, with different orientation, with different perception, and trying to trying to trying to looking for the perfect English, trying to, how do I put it?
Put us on the same pedestal is unfair, is what you want to say?
It's unfair. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it's unfair and it's totally uncalled for, right? People are
Mm-hmm.
different. People are
Yes.
different from different background, from different orientation, with different orientation rather. So trying to
Mm-hmm.
compare us together simply because on the basis of, oh, one person made, okay, so if we two we are to go with the past errors of leaders that have been, these conversations
I was
would
waiting for you
continue.
to get there. I was waiting for
Eh,
you to get there, because
So
on
that's
our
why,
daily.
I said, for some reasons, I wouldn't want to like
Oh, I
talk of
understand.
about some, yes. So, but
I
then if we want
understand.
to go with the past errors or mistakes of past leaders that are made, the
Yeah.
conversation I'm very certain would not end here, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
people are different.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love this answer, because that's one of the things that myself and my co-host in the morning talk about when we're on our show, which is whenever we have to talk about the special seats bill, that it's very, very unfair to use one person to
Mm-hmm,
judge like one person out of how many women in Nigeria.
mm-hmm,
It's very, very
mm-hmm.
unfair to do so. Also, like you rightly said, we see what you people are doing. We see how you people are fighting each other. I'm the one saying it's not the lady speaker. I can say it with my full chest. We see what you're doing. So, and look at where Nigeria is at. Do you think that? Because do you think that when women are in power, things will change?
Do you think that what?
When women are in power, when they're in the house, when they're in the House of Reps, when they're in governorship positions, presidency, do you think that Nigeria will change for the better?
Of course. And I will give you an instance.
Is there
Yes, of
confidence in
course.
me?
Of course, yes. And I'll give you an instance. Well,
Okay.
me being the first female speaker, I would use the instance of the parliament and some of the things that we've been able to achieve under this fifth assembly that I'm currently presiding on. We are recorded as the first legislative youth body in Nigeria to engage in international partnership.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to secure a partnership with UNICEF. Like it was our body, the Legislative Youth Body, the Lagos State Youth Parliament, that was first of its kind to engage in international partnership directly with UNICEF. Aside from this, we have also been, in fact, recently on Friday, on Friday, we organized its first of its kind parliamentary summit, tagged a co-parliament. It's online, it's everywhere. So I'm very sure, but probably you might have seen it, right? Aside from that, it is also this our legislative youth body that we now currently have a representative from the youth parliament now representing at the House of Assembly, serving as the senior legislative aide to the Speaker of House of Representatives. Also, we now have one of our members serving as the SSA to the Governor of Lagos State on special duty. These are as a result of what we have been doing, our work, our passion to serving the youth that these people must have identified. So I believe that when more young, not young, when more women are involved.
Please, I'm young. Thank you.
So when more women are involved, we'll see changes, not just changes, but changes that are very, very instrumental to the development of Nigeria.
Thank you so much for that answer. Two more questions before we go. The first question would be, what would you say to lawmakers who are still undecided about supporting the bill? Lawmakers who think that women want to come and take their seats. What would you say to them?
First,
don't worry, I'm the one saying it for you.
I would like to correct their perception.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear, yes. Go ahead.
First, I would like to correct their perception that nobody's coming to take your seat. And like I would always say, it is not even anybody's seat. It is not the perception that this seat is meant for one person or one gender is, nobody. And again, nobody is coming to take your seat because this special seat bill is not removing any seat. As a matter of fact, adding to it, it is like additional seat. So you thinking that, we are coming to take your seat, please, my mommy and my daddies, I want you to change that. I want you to look into, because most of the conversation that I've had, I've realized that most of the people that are against the special seat bill do not really know what it entails. They don't really read about the special seat bill, because I'm very sure that if most persons have read about the special seat bill, they will be thinking that any seat is coming to be taken, right? They are adding to it.
All right.
Adding to it, right?
Yeah.
And aside that, another thing is that I wanted to answer I think you asked two in one question. No. So I wanted to
who are undecided about supporting the bill.
Have I been able to answer your question?
Yeah, you have. Before we go, because we run out of time, what would be your message to young Nigerian women or women in general who are interested in politics, but they're feeling undecided, they're feeling, I'm not sure, they're feeling intimidated? What would be your advice to them?
Well, it depends on you, right? And I would want to say this, that there's space for you. So it depends on you whether you want to be involved or you want to continue to be sidelined. Nobody is going to stop you if you are determined. If you have the mindset that you're going to get there, trust me, there's space for you, and nobody, I repeat, nobody is going to stop you. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our lady speaker today. In fact, I'm going to enter your DM too. But yeah, I can enter politics, who knows? But as we've heard today, the conversation around the special seats bill goes beyond politics. It's really about inclusion, opportunity, and the kind of leadership future that Nigeria is building. We've seen that Lower Madam Speaker is already set. She's already in a leadership space. She's leading, the parliament. And the real question is, are our political structures ready for us? But then Itunu says it depends on us, so we should come on. So yeah, no, let's see. But I want to say a big thank you to you for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much.
We hope to have even more conversations with you on politics, how women can get into politics and all of that. Thank you so much for coming. And many thanks to every single person who listened to us today on Political Arena. Until next time, my name is Fumi Bangala. Stay tuned. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned to Women Radio 91.7. Thank you so much, Itunu.